Today I'll be doing a lesson over third grade subtraction. The TEAC is for algebraic reasoning and it's 3.5.A. It says the student is expected to represent 1 and 2 step problems involving addition and subtraction of whole numbers to 1,000 using pictorial models, number lines, and equations. The word problem that we're going to be solving today is Sarah has 126 pieces of paper left in her notebook. If she gives 38 pieces of paper to Jessica to use for a class project, how many does she have left? Today we're going to be using our first numerical model, which is going to be our number line, and we're going to use subtraction to find the pieces of paper that are left. So this is our number line right here, and I have marked it up into 10, so all we have to do is write down the tens, starting down with 10, and then we're going to go 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, and then we're going to end at 120. So we're going to start with our first number, which is all the way down here, and we're going to be at 38. So there's 38 pieces of paper that were used. And then Jessica started with 126. So we're going to go all the way down here with 126. Our colors are marking where we're starting on the number line. Number lines can be used to mark the numbers and intervals to show our numerical operation of subtraction. Okay, so we're going to start with 126, and that's how many pieces of paper that Sarah has left in her notebook. And then over here is 38, and that's how many pieces of paper that Sarah gave to Jessica. So what we're trying to figure out is this gap right here, and that's how many pieces that Sarah has left. So what we're going to do is we're going to start at 126, and we're going to go to the nearest tens, which is right here at 120. So how many is 126 minus 120? That's right, it's 6. There's a 6 as the difference. And then we're going to keep jumping by 10. So we have 110, 210, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more 10s. So that's going to be 80 right there. And then to find the rest of it, we're going to go from the 40, so the 38 to the closest is 40. So that's going to be a gap of 2. So if we add all of those together, we get 88 pieces of paper left. This model here that we're going to be using is called the base 10 blocks, and it shows and represents the numbers that we have, and it helps us visualize what the number looks like and what the value is. So what we have here is the 126 pieces of paper that is represented by 1 flat, which represents the hundreds, 2 longs, which represents the tens, and 6 cubes, which represent the ones. So what we're going to do is we're going to subtract each number, and we might have to do some regrouping. So we're going to start with the 6. We're going to have to subtract 8 from the 6 of the ones. And since we don't have 8 here, we're going to need to regroup one of these longs. So we're going to take one of these longs away, which represent 10 cubes. So we're going to go ahead and add 10 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 cubes. So now we're going to be able to take away the 8 ones that we have to take away. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that leaves us with 8 ones. Next, we're going to move on to the tens. And we have to subtract 3 tens from 2. So since we don't have 3 tens, we're going to have to regroup, taking this flat of hundreds, take that away, and add 10 longs. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So now we have 10 longs. So we're going to need to take away our 3. So we can take away 1, 2, 3. And now we'll be able to count how many longs we have left to show us our number. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which leaves us with 8 tens and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 ones, which leaves us as the answer as 88. There's some key vocabulary in the last video that I wanted to discuss. And the first one was regroup, which is the process of changing groups of ones into tens to make subtracting easier. Next was flats, and that represented our hundreds place. Then there's longs, which represents the tens, And lastly, there's cubes, which represent the ones. There are a couple key words that were used in today's lesson. There was the whole numbers, regrouping, comparing numbers, backward counting, and subtraction. There are a couple connections that were learned in this lesson. First, that subtraction, which under operations, equations can be solved through backward counting on a number line. Whole numbers can be regrouped to find the difference between two numbers, and when you subtraction, a student can compare numbers to find the difference of an equation. There's a couple misconceptions about subtractions that students often have. The first one is that students can often confuse subtraction with the concept of numbers being negative, meaning that when things are subtracted, instead of understanding there's a negative sign, when a number is negative, they think a number just could be subtracted. Next, that students think that subtraction is cumulative, which is kind of like A minus B equals B minus A, because addition is. And lastly, we can help students overcome this misconception by showing them pictorial base 10 blocks and the number to visualize this equation, which I hope to do through today's lesson.